Good morning, Greenhouse Management. We're back here at Richland High School at the greenhouse. Want to point out over this way, back a couple of days ago, you'll remember there was a big hole there. That hole's not there anymore. So we have some people to be thankful for them coming and helping us get that done in this time of crisis, and we really appreciate that. So today with Greenhouse Management, what we're going to do is to highlight another part of our greenhouse structure that I overlooked as we were talking about the greenhouse components a couple of weeks ago. Today, we're going to talk about the floor. Now, that seems kind of crazy because you're thinking, what does the floor have to do with what we do in greenhouse management? Well, if we go back about 8-9 years ago, when the process of finding a greenhouse started for us here at Richland, one of the first things we had to decide after we decided what our greenhouse was going to look like was, what was it going to sit on? Was it going to be on gravel, or was it going to be on a concrete pad? Now, my question to you as we begin this morning, what would be the major difference in planning, on the planning stage, what would be the main difference between gravel and concrete? Well, if you said cost, you'd be right, because obviously concrete is going to cost more per square foot of area than, say, gravel would. So in our greenhouse, we decided to go with concrete. Part of that is, hey, we were getting grant money, and why not go for the best if we could get it, right? Well, another reason might come from the standpoint of, what do you do if you have gravel and grass starts to grow through it? Because at some point, you're going to have to battle a grass problem if there's just gravel present. Now, what we did is, when we built our greenhouse, is we put in this greenhouse, or this concrete pad rather, and you kind of see it underneath the table there. In the middle, you will also see a drain that is running down the center of our greenhouse. So there's various things that you have to think about, even if you're putting in concrete, because number one, you're going to have a place for all of the water to go. So our pad is sloped in such a way that all the water runs towards the center of the greenhouse, and that drain is sloped so that everything runs to one central hole. Now that hole is connected to a pipe that runs down through the concrete, actually through some gravel that's under the concrete, and out behind us, out the side of the hill. So all of the drainage water runs out that way to get it away from the floor of the greenhouse. Now, really the perks to having concrete start with the ease of keeping grass out, keeping weeds out of the greenhouse. It does provide some issues. One of those issues can be cracking. We really haven't seen that in our greenhouse a whole lot, because we got a really good pad of concrete, and thank the Lord it hasn't cracked. But we do run into issues with water, and when we have water consistently flowing over this concrete, then we get buildup of a mossy type film, and it can get slick. So we have to watch that. But if you've got the funds and you're putting in a greenhouse, a concrete floor is definitely the way to go, in my opinion, because of the lack of weeds, but also it's really easy to keep it neat and tidy. So when we have a bunch of people come into our greenhouse for our plant sale, then we're able to provide a nice, clean environment for those folks to come in and to buy their plants. Now, these plants are continuing to grow. whether you're here or I'm here or not. I'm watering every day, as you see these videos indicate, and it's really an everyday process, 7 days a week, like we spoke on yesterday's video. So what I want you to do as you're sitting at home is go back and look at different greenhouse designs. You know, what works for us here at Richland may not work for you in your operation one day, or it may not work for somebody else. That's one reason there's so many different designs, so many different ideas, and just so many vehicles that you can drive, in a sense, in order to carry out a greenhouse a situation. So look at those ideas, come up with some plans of your own, and the great thing about it is you can do this in your backyard. You don't have to have a lot of space. And maybe you're somebody that says, I want to do something in agriculture, but I live on a half-acre plot. Well, talk to your parents, talk to your guardians, and see if, hey, we can come up with a way that we can do a little small-scale greenhouse in the backyard. And if anything, it'll give you a jump start on planting that garden later in the spring. So you guys have a good day. Enjoy the warmth of your and safety of a house if you have it. Thank God for those situations, and just don't forget the free food that's going on down the road at the elementary school if you have a chance to go get those meals, because I know there's some lunch ladies that would love for you to take advantage of that food, and we'll see you tomorrow.